Now, in this class, we are studying how box class can be defined and how the different functionalities of the box can be implemented with the help of Java program. So this is the box class, which is going to represent symbolically or conceptually the box which has three dimensions, that is height, width, and depth. So this particular box, and we have two classes in this one. Box is a class and box demo one is the class. A Java program can contain more than one class, but at least one class should contain the main function. And this is the box demo one class, which is containing the main function. Now, as we know, whenever you run the program execution will always start from the main function. The program execution will always start from the main function. Now, with this line, what we are trying to create here is we are declaring one object of type box. That is what it does. Create a new object of type box. That means for the box class, declare one object of the box class and allocate memory for that. That means what happens in the RHS part. So what it does here is it's going to declare one box object. So this one will be difficult for us to write. So for that purpose, what I'll take diagrammatically, let us represent the box like this, which has three dimensions. What it declares one box object. What are the data members of this box? Width, height, and depth. Width, height, and depth are the three data members or the members of the class. So individual memory will get reserved for that each and every members of the object. Now one object got created. So whatever object is getting created from the RHS, that is being assigned to the reference variable. What is the reference variable? MyBox1 is the reference variable, which is again of type box. That means MyBox1 is a reference variable which can always point to the box object. What is the name for this? Name for this is MyBox1. Name for this is MyBox1. So now what it means here is we have created one object. So what this indicates here is we have created one object. This is one object of class of which class? Of this box class. We have created one object. This is class will be having conceptual existence. Class will be having conceptual existence. That means no memory will be reserved for the class, but memory will be reserved only when we declare the objects. So for the object, memory gets reserved. For the object, memory gets reserved. Right? So this is the impact of very first line what we have seen now. What happens whenever we write the statement? So this is box object and memory gets reserved. All this I'll erase for explanation. Okay. Now in the next statement we are declaring one normal variable called value. So value, because we want to calculate the value of the box, so we are going to declare a variable called value. Now we know that how do we access members of a class? Members of a class are accessed by using name of the object followed by dot operator followed by the member name which you want to access. So with this line, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to access members of the class. That means not class, members of the object specifically, because we are dealing with the objects in real-time situations. Now this what it causes here is for the MyBox1 object, we are trying to access the width member. For the MyBox1 object, access the width member with the help of dot operator, and for that member whatever you access, assign a value 10 to that. That means what this causes here is in the memory, it is going to create an impact like this. That is MyBox1 dot width. The width member of MyBox1 will get a value of 10. So we are just assigning a value 10 to that particular data member. Then similarly, the next statement, what we're trying to do here is we are accessing height data member of the mybox1 object with the help of dot operator and assigning it a value of 20. mybox1 dot height, this will get a value of 20. Next, similarly, the other member, depth member, is also being accessed. That is, the depth member of mybox1 is being accessed with the help of dot operator, and we are assigning 15 to that. That means the RHS part will always get assigned to the LHS. So that is how the expressions will be evaluated. What is that? RHS part 15 and LHS part is depth member of mybox. So depth member of mybox will get a value of 15. So what we have done now is we have created an object and we have allocated memory for that, and we have accessed all the members of the object, and we have assigned some values for the members. What are the values? 10, 20 and 50. And we know that the volume of a box is calculated by multiplying all the three dimensions. As per the mathematics, the physics, we know that when you multiply all these three, we will get the volume of the box. We know that volume of the box is given by width into depth into height. This is what is known to us. So we are just trying to compute the volume of the box in the next statement. So what we are trying to do here is we're trying to find the multiplication of all these. So what is my box 1 dot width member here? Width member has a value of 10. Access that 10 into what is my box 1 dot height. That means what is the value of the height member of my box 1 object. Height member has a value of 20. Height member has a value of 20 into what is the value of depth member of my box 1 object. Depth member of my box 1 object has got a value of 15. So I should consider it as 15. Now when you multiply all these three, so 15 into 10 is 150, 150 into 20 is 3000. Okay, what is the volume? Calculated volume is 3000. So calculated volume is 3000, and simply we are printing that 3000 in the next line. What are we printing? The volume of the given box is, it will print like this, 3000. So this was an example what we saw for sample Java program. For sample Java program, that is creating and uh, writing and compiling. So I'll show you the compilation and execution. No. I should go to the JDK. This is one second. Box demo 1. Probably one program is this is the program what we saw just now. So what is the command for compilation of a Java program? We know that Java C is the compiler, and give name of the source file, that is box demo 1.java. If there are no syntax errors, we will get if there are zero errors, then we can execute the program. So what is the command to interpret the Java program? Java is the command, and then box demo one. Only the name of the bytecode you have to give. Name of the bytecode you have to give, and what it is printing output. Output it says that the volume of the box is 3000. Volume of the box is 3000. I would have shown you the bytecode, but it's not getting compiled here. For this, I need Windows. It is not supported in Windows 7 or 10. Windows 98 or 2003 I want. Okay. Okay, that I'll. Okay, that was the first concept, first program. Okay, now this is what we have seen. How do we create an instance of the class? How do we create an object? Just now we saw that by executing RHS, we declare an object here, and then this is what is the mybox reference available. For that, we are going to assign the object. Class Salima, pass it down. 5 minutes study. 5 minutes study. Madam, okay. Now let us see the how new actually the new keyword how actually it is going to work. So whenever we look at this statement, box equal to this particular statement, this has been divided into two smaller parts in this one. That is, this is one part. My box equal to my box one. This is what is the part. And next, what happens in this part, new box, whatever object you are going to create, the reference will be assigned to the my box one. That's what it is seen here. What happens whenever we execute this statement, box my box, this is just going to create one reference variable. This is simply going to create one reference variable, and that is what is my box is a reference variable which is pointing to nothing in the beginning. But when it points to some object, whenever you allocate memory for some object, then only it is going to point to the object. That means new of box. Whenever we execute this statement, what happens? A memory will be allocated for an object of type box, and then that is assigned to the my box. In other words, my box reference variable will point to an object of type box. So this is what is the memory diagram, which will help us to understand. My box is a reference variable now, which is pointing to an object called it's pointing to an box object. It's pointing to an box object. Now let us see the another concept called object reference variables. Let us see one more concept called object reference variables. So the reference variable, the concept of reference variables, if you remember in C++, we have already studied this. What is a reference variable? It is another variable which is given, which is assigned to an existing variable. That is, one more variable is being assigned to an existing variable, so that both the variables are pointing to the same memory locations. More than one reference variables are pointing to the same memory location. That is what is the concept of reference variable. With this, what happens? Usually, object called B1 will get created, and this is what is happening. Object called B1 will get created with this statement. So you just for now you just ignore this, right? What happens whenever we execute these statements? A box object will get created, and the reference variable B1 will point to that. So the reference variable B1 is pointing, which has data members like width, height, and depth. Now what happens whenever you execute the second statement? Whenever you execute this statement, what we are trying to do here is we are creating one more reference variable B2, and for that B2 we are assigning B1. That means, in other words, B2 reference variable is also pointing to the object B1, or B2 reference variable is also pointing to the object where B1 is pointing to. B1 is pointing to this object. Now B2 will also point to the same object. B1 is pointing to the box object and B2 will also point to the same object. That is what is the reference variable. That means with the help of these two, you can change the values of these data members. That is, if you if you assign the values like this, width equal to 1, 2 and 3, then these values are reflected for the reference variable B2 also. That means the same memory location being accessed by two different pointers or two different reference variables. That is what is the concept of reference variable. And superclass, as we have seen in case of inheritance, one object can acquire properties from other objects. One object can acquire properties from other objects, and this is called as superclass. Superclass. From this, we will be always acquiring properties at the subclass, and this is involved only when we study about the inheritance, which we will see later. Okay, now let us see constructor. As we know, constructor is a method which has same name as that of the class. And what was the need for constructor? The constructor is used to initialize the object or to give some initial values for the objects whenever we create the object. So just now we have seen one example of a box class, and there we were not using the constructor. The default constructor was being called. So what were the values here in this example? Here we are not using any specific values. We are not starting with the default values for the constructors. What values we are assuming here is we are giving those values width as 10, height as 20 and depth as 50. This is what we are doing. But in real-time situations, what we may want is the data member should assume default values. Whenever we start the execution, they should start with those values. That is what the constructor does. That means whenever you are creating an object, whenever you are creating a box, this is one box, and whatever box you create, you want to start the box with default dimensions. That means it should have 10 centimeters depth, 10 centimeters height and 10 centimeters width. That means you have to create the box. Whenever you create the object, you should have this default value. Later you can change. So that is possible with the help of constructors. We can make use of constructors to deal with the assigning initial values for the objects. Assigning initial values for the objects. One second, I'll just close the door. So there was some disturbance, so I had to stop in between. Okay, so we are discussing about constructors. The purpose of constructor is to initialize the objects whenever the objects are getting created. That is, give some initial values for the objects. Now let us see one example program to explain. That is, this is what is the example program constructor, how the constructors are going to function. Right, we have seen them in C++. Same way, in Java also the constructors will work in the same way. They will assign some initial values for the objects whenever we create. Okay, as usual, the same box class we are assuming, which has 3 data members, width, height, and depth. This is what is constructor of the box. This is what is constructor of the box. Why it is constructor? Because it is a member function which has same name as that of the class. If you can see here, what is the name of the class? Name of the class is box, and name of the function is also box. When a member function has same name as that of the class, then that function is called as a constructor. So box is a constructor. That means when this method will be called, this method will be called whenever you create objects of the class. This method will be automatically called whenever you create objects of the class. Whenever you create objects of the class. So what is happening within the definition of the constructor? We are just displaying a message saying that constructing box, and we are assigning default values or some initial values. Some initial values for width. Width must be 10, height must be 10, and depth must be 10. This is what we want. Whenever we declare an object, whenever we create an object, that should have these default values for width, height, and depth. That is what the constructor is doing. Now one more member function is there within the class. What is that member function? Volume is the member function, and what actually it is doing? It is just calculating volume of the box. In earlier example, we were not using the member function for calculation of the volume. We were simply returning the multiplication, that is multiplied values of width, height, and depth. Now here specifically we have defined one function for calculation of the volume. One function is defined for calculation of the value. Now that has box is one class here, and box demo 6 is another class. Box demo 6 is another class, and this is having the main function. This is having the main function. Now once we enter into the main function, these are the two box objects which are getting created. These are the two box objects which are getting created. My box 1 is one object and my box 2 is another object, which we have seen just now. But at the background, many things are happening. What happens after the execution of every line, I will explain. What is happening in the background whenever you execute this statement? The impact of this statement, what it does is it invokes the object. It invokes the create the object. It create the object and invoke the constructor for that, and invoke the constructor for that object. This is what it does. First it will create an object, then it will invoke the constructor for that object. That means we have to go to the definition of the member function with the name called box. Nothing but indirectly we are calling the constructor. Automatically the constructor will get called. Now let us go to the definition. So what happens here is the definition. Where is the definition? Definition is here. That means we are studying the impact at the background now. Impact at the background. So this one line, what it causes here is, this causes the constructor to be called. What happens? One box will get created. But before that, at the output screen, I have tried that also. What it will print? It will print constructing box. It will print constructing box. Print statement, because that is what is the definition. All these four statements present within the constructor will be executed now. All these four statements will be executed. So first statement is constructing box. Next statement is what? Width. Assign these data members some values: width, height, and depth. So I will write width, height and depth. What are the values we are assigning to them? 10, 10 and 10 we have assigned. So one statement is printed here, and then we have assigned some values for the members of the object. And after assign, this is what is the impact, and that RHS impact is being assigned to the LHS. That means what is the reference variable we are giving for that? Reference variable is mybox1. So what is this? We have just created this object. What is the reference variable for that? Reference variable for that is mybox1. This is mybox1 object. Similarly, the second statement also will cause one more object to be created. Again, the same thing will happen. It will call the constructor. For now, this time it is for mybox2. Again, it will call constructor once again and display the statement. What is that? Constructing box, because two objects we are creating. It will also print saying that constructing box will get printed. Then create the object. An object will get created. Data members. What are the members of the object? Width, height, and depth. So this is what is happening. And once it gets created, to which reference variable we are assigning? We are assigning that to reference variable mybox2. We are assigning that to reference variable mybox2. That means this is what is mybox2. This is what is mybox2. Okay, sorry, I think these are values I forgot to tell. 10, 10, 10 will be assigned for all the data members. 10, 10 and 10 will be assigned for all the data members. This is the output what we can see, and two objects are successfully created. Only the impact of two lines is explained now. Next, volume1 temporary variable is being declared. Now what we are doing here is we are calling volume function of the mybox1. That means invoke the member function volume onto mybox1 object. Invoke the member function volume onto mybox1 object. What this causes? This causes now value member function to be called. This causes now the value member function to be called. What it does is right onto the mybox1 object, invoke the value function. That means function value we are calling now. This will transfer the control to the definition of value. Yes, value function we are calling now. Onto which object we are calling? We are calling now onto the mybox1. So for this object we are calling value function. So what is the resultant value of the volume? What is happening within the definition of the volume? We are just finding the result of W into H into depth, that is width into height into the depth, and return that value. So basically what this volume function return now, it is going to return a value of probably 10 into 10 is 100, 100 into 10 is 1000. What it will return? It will return 1000, because we are accessing those members. So 1000, that 1000 will be assigned to volume, because the result of RHS should be assigned to the LHS. Now what is present in volume? Volume has a value of 1000, and that 1000 is being displayed. That is volume of first box is 1000. Similarly, it is same for the second box also, because they are also having same dimensions. The next statement what we are doing, we are calling volume function onto mybox2 object. We are calling volume function on mybox2 object. It will make a call, that is call volume function. Call volume function. Call volume function. What it does, I'll just erase this part. Now what it is doing, it is calling volume function. Just I'll show the continuation here. It is calling volume function, but onto which object this time? Onto this object, onto mybox2. Onto mybox2. What are the data values of the data members in mybox2? They have value 10, 10, 10. So those values are used here. 10 into 10 into 10. 10 into 10 into 10. So what will be the final return value? Return value is 1000. So it is returning what it will return. It will return the calculated part of this. What is the calculated part of this? Calculated part is 1000. That 1000 will be returned. That 1000 will be returned. Yes, this 1000 will be returned, and it will be assigned to the variable value. And what it will print? It will print just the value, saying that value is how much? 1000. So basically what the constructor does here is, constructors are used to assign some initial values for the members of the object whenever we create the objects. So let us see the execution part. Box demo 6 probably, yes. This is the program what we saw. Okay. Second, here this is printing, value is 1000. That's output I didn't show you. For the first box, it will print value is 1000. So output will printed, output will be emitted like this. What is that? Value is 1000. Similarly, for this object also we are printing what is that? Value is 1000. So that line also will get printed. Value is 1000. Okay. Now let us see the compilation. Box demo 6.java. Right. So when there are no errors, we can make use of the Java interpreter. As you can see, we got the expected output, that is constructing box, volume is 1000, volume is 1000. Whatever value you mention, whatever values you mention in the constructors, those values will be assigned. Those values will be assigned. I'll just try to change this. Probably it may not support. We need one more program. It will create box demo 6. No, again for that I need to change it and bring it back. Whatever values you change, it will get assigned to that. Box demo 6. Control C. I'm just changing the values of the program. Just wait. Box demo 6A. 6A. I have just changed it. Okay. Let me use different values for the width. Whatever values you change, instead of 10, 10, 10, I want them to take some different dimensions. What is that? 20, 20, and 20. These values I want the boxes to assume. Whatever the new dimensions you want, those dimensions simply you can go and change in the constructor. If you change that in the constructor, it will change everywhere. For all other calculations, it will get changed. This box demo 6A program, I'll paste it here. Right? Box demo 6A, which is the program that we have changed just now. Box demo 6A. So I will compile that program. Demo 6A. Okay. Enter. Compilation is successful. Okay. Now I'll use Java interpreter. Box demo 6A. Give the name of the bytecode, that is box demo 6A. Right. 1 second. Box demo 6. Okay. Name of the class must also be same. This part will come later, but still I will try to explain you now itself. Why we got the error here is, once I open this source file, it is good that we got error now only. So what it says here is, what is the name of the bytecode that I am giving here? Name of the bytecode I am giving here is box demo 6A. Box demo 6A. But in that program, so look at the source file here. Box demo 6A is the source file. But in that program, what is the name of the class which is containing main function? Name of the class is box demo 6. I didn't change this. That's why error is coming. Whenever you execute the program, we should specify the name of the bytecode which contains the main function. You should specify the name of the bytecode which contains the main function. But when you compile this program, we will get two bytecodes. What is the first bytecode? With the name called box.class. Second bytecode is boxdemo6.class, boxdemo6a.class. But I am giving wrong name here. So it must be 6a. You should specify the name of the class which contains that particular bytecode. Now I have saved this. I'll take this updated program, that name, try to place this here. Okay, now let us try to compile that. Box demo 6a, right? Box demo 6, Java box demo 6. Yes, now you got the correct output. Now you got the correct output. That is constructing box, volume is 8000. So the reason why we got the error, so please, as it has encountered, now only I will explain it. Right, this is our source program. That is why the name of the, if later we'll get a concept why the name of the bytecode must be same, or why the name of the class must be same as that of the source file name which is containing main function. Why is that reason? We'll study it. How many classes are there in this source file? This is one class. What is the class? Box is one class. What is another class in our entire source file? Another class is box demo 6. So two classes are there. So how many classes are there in our Java program? So please concentrate. This is our Java source file. This is our Java source file. This Java source file has two classes now. What is first class? First name of the class is box. Second class is box demo 6 or whatever. Among these two classes, which class is containing main function? Box demo 6 is containing main function. So whenever we compile this program, we know that we will get intermediary notation called bytecode. So whenever you compile this program, we will get two bytecodes. Every bytecode will be related with the name of the class. That means we will get one bytecode called box.class, another bytecode called box demo 6.class. These two are the bytecodes. These two are the bytecodes. These two are the bytecodes. If there are 10 classes in the Java source file, once you compile the Java program containing 10 classes, you will get 10 bytecodes. Whatever may be, one bytecode will be created for one class. Now that is half part. Next thing is, whenever you are executing the program, we know that the program execution will always start from the main function. We know that the program execution will always start from the main function. Now for the interpreter, you have to give the name of the bytecode. See, what do we do? First step, we will perform Java C and just whatever the program name. What is the program name? That is, it could be box demo 6.java is the source file. This is our source file. After compilation, what we do? We take the help of interpreter, that is Java. What we gave here, you just see the command prompt, what I executed just now. Java box demo 6 I have taken. Java box demo 6 I have given. Why I have to give box demo 6 here is because we know that program execution will start from the main function. So to begin the execution of the main function, you should give the name of the bytecode which is containing main function. Among these two, This is the bytecode which is for this is the corresponding bytecode for this, and this is the corresponding bytecode for this. But this is the bytecode which is containing main function. That's why we have to give the name called box demo 6. If there is any changes in this one, the program will not execute. That was the case what just now what it was happening here. Earlier what I executed, I gave the interpreter bytecode name as box demo 6a, but in fact it was 6 only. So when I changed it, it got executed. Now I'll show you the other part also. Whenever you give only the box, right? See here, as I said, whenever we compile a Java source file, we will get 2 bytecodes because it is having 2 classes. One is with the name box.class, another one is with the name boxdemo6.class. 2 bytecodes have been created. Now when I give the bytecode, see here for this interpreter, when I give Java boxdemo6 bytecode, it is working fine. But when I give Java box, because that is also a bytecode, it will throw the error message. What is that? Main is not defined. It clearly says that no such method error. Which method is not there? Main method is not there. Main method is not there in which bytecode? Main method is not present in box bytecode, but it is present in which bytecode? It is present in box demo bytecode. So that's why it is the reason that I have to give, we have to always give the name of the bytecode which is containing main function. And preferably we give the name of the source file like that only. What is that? You should give the name of the source file like this, box demo6.java. This is for entire source file. We have to give this same name. It gives a hint that box demo6 is class which is present in the source file which contains the main function. That is going to give a hint. That's why we give the same name. Preferably we go, but it is not mandatory. It is, this case is not mandatory. You can give any name for the source file. But while executing, you have to give the same name of the bytecode which is containing main function. That's it. That is a key logic what we should remember always while executing the Java programs. Any questions from your side?